I met Eric at the movies. The theater lights glowed warm. Popcorn smelled sweet in the air. My heart beat fast. I wanted to believe this date would be different. My friends had begged me to go out. You can't just work and go home, Claire. Have some fun, they said. So, I agreed. Eric looked good in his profile. Polite. Charming. He invited me to see a movie. It felt safe. When I arrived, he was waiting. He leaned against a poster and smiled at me. My guard dropped. He looked sharp. Confident. Handsome. He had already bought the tickets. Ladies shouldn't pay, he joked with a wink. Inside, he made me laugh. He whispered silly comments during the previews. He bought the largest tub of popcorn. He noticed when I shivered. He put his jacket around my shoulders. For 2 hours, I felt safe. Wanted. After the movie, he walked me to my car. The night air was cool. He seemed protective. Different from other men I'd met. That was our first date. The second date came fast. Dinner at a small Italian place. He pulled out my chair. Ordered wine. He asked about my life. My work. My dreams. He listened. He smiled when I laughed. By the third date, I was falling for him. Then things changed. Are you really going to wear that? He asked one night. I wore my favorite sundress. What's wrong with it? I asked. Nothing, he shrugged. It's just short. I don't want other guys looking at what's mine. Mine. The word stung. I laughed it off. Maybe he was just protective. Maybe he cared too much. Another time, I mentioned lunch with a male coworker. His smile froze. You don't need to see other men. Not when you have me. My stomach tightened. But I told myself it was love. Then came the first bruise. We were driving home from a party. I had laughed too much at one of his friend's jokes. Eric stayed quiet. His jaw clenched. What was so funny? He asked. I don't even remember. It was just a joke. You think he's better than me? No. Of course not. His hand shot out. He gripped my wrist hard. I gasped. Don't ever embarrass me again, he whispered. The next morning, a bruise covered my skin. When he saw it, his face softened. I'm so sorry, Claire. I didn't mean to hurt you. I just love you too much. I can't stand the thought of losing you. That afternoon, he brought roses. Chocolates. Sweet words. And I forgave him. It happened again. That's how abuse works. Violence. Then guilt. Then flowers and kisses. You begin to doubt your own pain. For weeks, I hid my arm in long sleeves. I told myself it was the last time. But deep inside, I knew it wasn't. The night everything changed was back at the movies. He chose a thriller. I sat stiff in my seat. His hand gripped mine. Too tight. I shifted. He tightened his grip. Eric, you're hurting me, I whispered. Shoo, he said, eyes on the screen. Then I felt it, someone watching me. A man sat 2 rows ahead. He turned slightly. Our eyes met. His gaze was steady. Protective. He saw my fear. Eric didn't notice. For a second, I wanted to cry out. I didn't. But something inside me shifted. Someone had seen. Someone cared. When the movie ended, Eric yanked me outside. His hand was like iron on my arm. Behind us, I heard footsteps. The same man. The stranger. He walked near, pretending to look at his phone. When Eric stopped to scold me, about smiling too much, about walking too slow, the man brushed past. And in that moment, he slipped a small piece of paper into my hand. A number. No words. Just a lifeline. I tucked it into my sleeve, heart racing. For the first time in months, I felt hope. That night, lying in bed, Aree's arm heavy on me, I thought of the stranger's eyes. The quiet strength in them. I didn't know his name. I didn't know if I'd ever call. But I knew one thing. I wasn't invisible. I wasn't alone. And maybe, he could save me. The next morning, Aree acted sweet again. He kissed my forehead. He made coffee. He asked, "Sleep well?" I lied. Yes. Inside, I was shaken. But I kept smiling. That's what abuse does. You learn to wear masks. At first, the changes were small. He wanted to know where I was. Every hour. Text me when you leave work, he said. Text me when you get home. If I was late, even 10 minutes, he would ask 100 questions. Who were you with? Why didn't you answer? Who called you? At first, I thought it was love. Attention. Care. But slowly, I felt like a prisoner. One evening, I wore lipstick. He frowned. Why do you need makeup? You're already with me. I laughed softly. Because I like it. He stared hard. I don't. I wiped it off. My hand shook. Another time, I tried to visit my sister. He said, "Why? Don't you love me more than her?" I answered, "Of course I do." He smiled. But my chest felt heavy. The bruises came less often. But the words cut deeper. You're nothing without me. No one else would want you. I'm the best thing you'll ever have. Each sentence carved into me like a knife. And yet, I stayed. Why? Because leaving felt impossible. He had broken my confidence piece by piece. But then, there was the paper. The number. I hid it in a book. I read it every night. Just numbers, but they felt alive. A secret promise. Sometimes I whispered, should I call? But fear always answered, no. He'll find out. Weeks passed. The control grew stronger. At a dinner with friends, Aree grabbed my knee under the table. His nails dug in. His smile never broke. To others, he looked perfect. To me, he was a cage. When I tried to laugh too freely, his grip tightened. When I looked away too long, he whispered, eyes on me. My friends noticed I had grown quieter. More distant. But no one asked. No one saw. Except him. The stranger from the theater. I saw him again. It was an accident, or maybe fate. I walked into the grocery store, and there he was. He stood near the fruit section, holding apples. Our eyes met. I froze. He didn't smile. He didn't stare too long. But in his eyes, I saw it again, concern. Strength. Aree wasn't with me. For a second, I thought of pulling the paper out. But I couldn't. My hand shook. Still, as I left, I felt a whisper in my heart. He's close. He hasn't forgotten. That night, Aree asked, why are you smiling? I quickly said, no reason. He narrowed his eyes. Don't lie to me. I shook my head. I'm not lying. He didn't believe me. But he let it go. Inside, I clung to a tiny seed of hope. The stranger was out there. Watching. Waiting. And maybe, one day, he would save me. It started with silence. Aree wasn't yelling. He wasn't smiling. He was just, quiet. That silence scared me more than his words. I had forgotten to reply to his text. My phone was on silent. I was folding laundry. When I saw his message an hour later, I quickly typed, sorry, I didn't see this. I was busy. But it was too late. That evening, he came home. He dropped his keys on the table, hard. The sound made me jump. "Busy?" he asked, his voice calm but sharp. "Yes," I whispered. "Just laundry." "Laundry is more important than me?" I shook my head. "No, of course not." He walked closer. "Too close. You belong to me, Ava. When I text, you answer." I nodded quickly. "I understand. It won't happen again." But something inside him snapped. His hand moved fast. A slap. Sharp. Hot. My cheek burned. I stood frozen. Tears filled my eyes. "You're mine," he said again. And then, he hugged me. Yes. He held me close right after hitting me. My body stiffened, but his voice was soft. "Don't make me do that. I love you too much to lose you." Love? That didn't feel like love. But I said nothing. Because I was scared. Because I wanted the moment to end. Later that night, I looked in the mirror. My cheek was red. A bruise was forming. I touched it gently. Pain shot through me. I told myself, "It's small. It's the last time. He won't do it again." But deep down, I knew. This was the beginning. The next morning, I wore makeup to hide it. He smiled at me as if nothing had happened. "Pretty as always," he said. I forced a smile back. My stomach twisted. At work, my friend Clara asked, "Are you okay? You look tired." I laughed nervously. "Just didn't sleep well." I wanted to scream the truth. He hit me. "I'm scared." But the words stayed locked inside my throat. That night, Eric brought flowers. "See? I'm sorry," he said. He kissed me. He cooked dinner. He made me laugh. And I believed him. I wanted to believe him. But the bruise stayed. Every time I washed my face, I saw it. A mark of pain. A mark of fear. I thought of the stranger. The man from the movie theater. His eyes. His quiet strength. His paper with a number. I had hidden it inside a book. That night, I pulled the book out. I touched the paper. My fingers trembled. One call. Just one call. But I couldn't. My heart raced too fast. Eric walked in suddenly. "What are you holding?" I shoved the book aside. "Nothing. Just reading." He narrowed his eyes. Then he smiled. "Too sweet. I like when you read. Smart girls are sexy." He kissed my cheek, the one he had hit. It burned again, but this time inside my heart. Days passed. The bruise faded. But his control grew. More rules. More questions. More eyes watching me wherever I went. And then came the second bruise. This time, it wasn't hidden. This time, others would notice. And for the first time, I began to wonder if the stranger was my only way out. The second bruise was harder to hide. It was on my arm. His fingers had dug in too hard when he grabbed me. Dark marks. Shaped like his hand. I wore long sleeves, even though the weather was warm. But fabric couldn't cover the way I moved, slow, stiff, sore. At work, Clara noticed again. "You okay?" she asked softly. I forced a smile. "Yeah, just clumsy." Bumped into a door. She raised an eyebrow. "That's the third door this month." I laughed. A weak sound. Guess I'm accident prone. She didn't believe me. I could see it in her eyes. Later that day, Eric texted. "Where are you? Send me a picture." "Prove it." I snapped a photo of my desk. "Send it quickly." My hand shook. Clara saw my face. Boyfriend? Husband, I whispered. She nodded slowly. Her smile didn't reach her eyes. That evening, Eric was waiting. His arms folded. His jaw tight. You took too long to answer. I was busy at work. Too busy for me? His voice was low. Dangerous. I froze. No, never. His hand gripped my chin. Hard. Don't lie to me. When he finally let go, my skin stung. He kissed the same spot he had hurt. Again. Always the same pattern. Hurt. Apologize. Repeat. The next weekend, my sister invited me over. I almost said yes. I wanted to. But when I asked Eric, his face hardened. You don't need anyone but me, he said. But she's my sister. She doesn't love you like I do. I swallowed my words. I stayed home. That night, I lay awake. I thought about my sister. Clara. My old friends. How I had slowly stopped seeing them. How he had pulled me away from everyone. Now I was alone. Except for him. The next day, I ran into the stranger again. It was outside the coffee shop. He was standing in line, holding a book. When our eyes met, my chest tightened. He looked at me. Then, his gaze dropped to my arm. The sleeve had slipped up. The bruise showed. His eyes darkened. Concern. Anger. I panicked. Pulled the sleeve down. Looked away. But when I glanced back, he was still watching. Not in judgment. Not in pity. In quiet promise. That night, Eric asked, "Who did you see today?" My heart stopped. No one. You're lying. No, I swear. Just errands. He stared at me for a long time. Then finally, he nodded. But I knew. He didn't trust me. And the walls around my life grew even tighter. Still, one thought refused to leave my mind. The stranger had seen. He knew now. And maybe, just maybe, he wouldn't stay silent forever. The bruise stayed for days. No makeup could hide it fully. Every time I caught my reflection, shame burned in me. Not because of the mark. But because I kept lying to cover it. A week later, I went back to the coffee shop. I almost didn't. But I needed a moment away from the house. Away from him. When I pushed open the door, he was there. The stranger. Same spot. Same book in his hand. This time, when he saw me, he smiled. Soft. Careful. Hi, he said. I froze. Then, without meaning to, I whispered back, hi. We ended up standing in line together. You come here often, he said lightly. I nodded. Sometimes. His gaze flicked to my sleeve. I pulled it lower. Quickly. He didn't push. But his voice dropped, gentle. Is someone hurting you? My heart stopped. For a moment, I couldn't breathe. Then I forced a laugh. No. I'm fine. He studied me. Not convinced. But he let it go. When my order came, I reached for the cup. My hand shook. Hot coffee sloshed on the lid. Careful, he said, steadying it. His fingers brushed mine. Warm. It felt like safety. Something I hadn't felt in a long time. Thank you, I murmured. I almost walked out. But he spoke again. My name's Alex, he said. The name hung in the air between us. Strong. Simple. Real. I hesitated. Then whispered, I'm Emily. He smiled. Nice to meet you, Emily. The moment was small. But when I left the cafe, my chest felt lighter. For the first time in months, I had said my name without fear. And someone had spoken it back, with kindness. That evening, Eric noticed. "You're smiling," he said, narrowing his eyes. My stomach dropped. "Just a good day at work," I lied quickly. He stared at me for a long time. Then he muttered, "Don't forget who you belong to." The warmth from earlier turned to ice in my veins. But as I lay in bed that night, one thought echoed in me. The stranger had a name. Alex. And Alex had seen me. Really seen me. Maybe that meant I wasn't invisible anymore. The days grew heavier. Eric became sharper, crueler. Every word felt like a knife. He didn't just hurt me with his hands anymore. He used silence. Control. Fear. One night, he came home drunk. The smell hit me first, whiskey and anger. "Where were you today?" he demanded. "I was at work," I said quietly. His eyes narrowed. "Don't lie to me." He grabbed my wrist, squeezing until I cried out. The next morning, I hid the mark under long sleeves. But inside, I felt broken. So I walked to the cafe. Alex was there. Always in the same spot. Like he was waiting. This time, he didn't pretend not to notice. "You're hurt," he said firmly. My throat tightened. Tears burned behind my eyes. But I shook my head. "It's nothing." He leaned closer. "You don't deserve this." Those words cracked something inside me. No one had ever said that before. I sat down across from him. For the first time, I let a piece of truth slip out. "My husband, he gets angry sometimes." Alex's jaw tightened. "That's not anger. That's abuse." The word scared me. But it also felt right. Like he had named the monster I lived with. Before I left, he pressed a small card into my hand. His number. "If you ever need help," he said softly. "Call me. Anytime. Day or night." That night, Eric saw the card in my bag. "Who's Alex?" he demanded. My stomach dropped. "He's nobody," I lied quickly. "Just a stranger." But Eric didn't believe me. He slammed the card onto the floor. Then he shoved me against the wall. "Don't you dare talk to another man again." When he finally stormed out, I sank to the ground. Shaking. Crying. But in the middle of my fear, one thought stayed. Alex knew. And Alex cared. For the first time, I wasn't fully alone. It happened on a stormy night. Rain lashed against the windows. The house felt colder than ever. Eric came home late. His shirt smelled of perfume. His eyes were wild. "Dinner?" he barked. "It's cold," I whispered. The slap came before I could breathe. My cheek stung. My ears rang. He shoved the plate from the table. Food spilled onto the floor. "Can't you do anything right?" he shouted. Tears blurred my vision. I begged quietly. "Please, stop." But begging only fueled him. He grabbed my arm, twisting hard. Pain shot through me. "I own you," he snarled. "You'll never leave me." At that moment, I felt something break inside. Fear turned into fire. I couldn't live like this anymore. The next morning, I walked to the cafe again. Alex was there. The storm outside mirrored the storm inside me. He looked up. One glance, and he knew. "You can't go back," he said. His voice was steady. Strong. Safe. I finally whispered. "I don't know how to leave." Alex leaned closer. "You don't have to do it alone. I'll help you." That night, Eric's rage exploded again. This time, he threw a glass against the wall. Shards scattered across the floor. He cornered me. Trapped me. My heart pounded. But I remembered Alex's words. "You don't have to do it alone." And for the first time, I picked up my phone. My hands shaking. I dialed the number on the card. The line clicked. Hello? Alex's voice. Steady. Calm. Help me, I whispered through tears. And with that single call, everything began to change. The night was silent. Too silent. I packed my bag slowly. Only the essentials. Clothes. Papers. A small photo of my mom. My hands trembled. Every sound felt loud. Even my heartbeat betrayed me. Alex waited outside in his car. Headlights off. Engine quiet. I texted him, ready. Suddenly, the door creaked open. Eric's shadow filled the hallway. Going somewhere? His voice cut the air. My blood turned cold. I clutched the bag tighter. He stepped closer. His smile was sharp. You think you can run? I froze. My legs refused to move. Then, my phone buzzed. A message from Alex, come now. Eric's eyes narrowed. He lunged for the phone. I screamed. Dodged. Ran. My feet flew down the stairs. Eric chased me, shouting my name. The front door was so close. I yanked it open. And there he was. Alex. Tall. Strong. Determined. Let her go, Alex said firmly. His body blocked Eric's path. Eric laughed bitterly. She's mine. Not anymore, Alex replied. The tension cracked like thunder. Eric tried to push past. But Alex shoved him back. Get in the car. Alex yelled to me. I ran. Heart pounding. Eric grabbed Alex's collar. They struggled, fists flying. My scream echoed through the night. Then Alex broke free. He shoved Eric to the ground. Without looking back, he jumped into the car. Go. I cried. The tires screeched. The house faded in the rearview mirror. For the first time in years, I was out. Free. But as I leaned back, breathless, a chilling thought struck me. Eric wasn't finished. We drove for hours. The city lights disappeared. Dark roads swallowed us whole. Alex's hand gripped the wheel. My hand shook in my lap. Are you okay? He whispered. I nodded weakly. But inside, I was broken. My phone buzzed again. A message. From Eric. You can run, but you can't hide. My stomach dropped. He knew. He was coming. Alex read the text. His jaw clenched. He won't touch you again. I promise. But I saw fear in his eyes. Eric was dangerous. And relentless. 2 days passed. Alex gave me a safe place to stay. A small apartment above his friend's cafe. Warm. Quiet. Peaceful. For the first time, I felt safe enough to sleep. But safety never lasts. Not with Eric. One evening, the cafe door rattled hard. Then, bang. The glass cracked. Eric's voice thundered outside. Susan. Come out. I froze. Tears filled my eyes. He had found me. Alex ran to the door. Leave us alone, he shouted. Eric laughed. That girl is mine. She'll always be mine. The neighbors peeked from windows. Some called the police. But Eric didn't care. He smashed another window. Shards scattered across the floor. My heart raced. Would he kill Alex? Would he drag me back? Alex stood firm. Between me and Eric. His voice strong. You lost her. She's free now. But Eric's eyes burned with fury. This isn't over. Not by a long shot. Sirens wailed in the distance. Blue and red lights cut through the night. Aree cursed. Then he ran, melting into the shadows. I collapsed into Alex's arms. Shaking. Crying. For a moment, I thought it was over. But deep inside, I knew Aree would come back. Days turned into weeks. Life felt almost normal. Almost. But deep down, I knew Aree was still watching. One night, Alex and I left the cafe late. The streets were quiet. Too quiet. A shadow moved. My blood ran cold. Aree. He stepped forward. His eyes wild. His smile twisted. You thought you could escape me? His voice was low. Sharp. Deadly. Alex pushed me behind him. Stay back, Susan. He faced Aree head-on. Aree pulled out a knife. The streetlight glinted on the blade. I gasped. Please, don't. I cried. Aree lunged. The knife flashed. Alex grabbed his arm. They struggled. The sound of fists. Heavy breaths. Rage in the air. Run, Susan. Alex shouted. But I couldn't. I wouldn't. I picked up a broken bottle near the trash. My hand shook. But my heart was strong. Aree shoved Alex to the ground. He raised the knife. Ready to strike. No. I screamed. I swung the bottle. It smashed against Aree's shoulder. He roared in pain. The knife clattered to the ground. Alex tackled him. Pinned him down. This time, the police arrived. Sirens. Flashing lights. Strong hands dragging Aree away. I collapsed against Alex. Tears streamed down my face. It's finally over, I whispered. He held me tight. No. It's just the beginning. That night, under the broken streetlight, I realized something. I wasn't just a victim anymore. I was free. And standing beside me was the man who gave me that freedom. Alex. My hero. My future. Thank you for watching this emotional love story on The Love Chapter by Aree. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more heart-touching stories. Tell us in the comments which country or place you are watching from. We'd love to know where our family of viewers is growing around the world.